Coming up, a Bahama attorney says yesterday's landmark Supreme Court decision does not conflict with its Chapter 11 bankruptcy process in the United States. And the president of the Chamber of Commerce says yesterday's court decision still leaves Bahama room for a negotiated resolution. So don't go anywhere. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. It's been described as a landmark decision in the Supreme Court yesterday. Justice Ian Winder delivering a decision in the winding up and liquidation hearing put forward by the government regarding the stalled and incomplete Bahama resort. Both the government and Bahama are reportedly expressing satisfaction in the ruling, which, while not approving the winding up petition, does approve the appointment of joint provisional liquidators with extremely limited powers. Clint Watson reports tonight on Bahama's decision.
Many are calling Justice Ian Winder's decision in the Supreme Court Friday regarding the government's winding up petition to avoid provisional liquidators a win-win for both sides. Justice Winder, in his lengthy and what many described as thorough judgment, saw the need to move the process forward to complete and open the mega resort, but also sought to protect the assets and establishment of the group of companies. While not approving the original winding up petition from the government, he did see the value in approving joint provisional liquidators with extremely limited power, ordering that the process should run a short course to maintain costs. Attorney for Bahama Maurice Clinton QC says they're pleased by the judge's comprehensive decision, calling it a landmark ruling.
At the end of the day, we certainly feel vindicated with respect to posture in the face of the original petition which the government filed, because that was struck out and we proved right in that score. And at the end of the day, what they really wanted, I suppose they will say that they've gotten, and that is good too, but it's only for the appointment of provisional liquidators for a very short period. But in every other respect, we are quite pleased with the court's decision.
Along with striking out the petition, the government has also been ordered to pay costs. Nonetheless, Attorney Wayne Munro, who is the spokesperson for the government side, says they were pleased that what they were hoping to achieve in the court appointing the provisional liquidators has happened. He says the focus should be to still talk, as outlined by the judge, before the November 2nd date when they will return for the provisional liquidation hearing. Bahama, however, continues the process for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Delaware. Clinton says that Chapter 11 creates a different kind of status than the protection Bahama will be under in the Bahamas, having provisional liquidators appointed. He says they don't conflict, they complement each other.
We short of winding up, and that's what Chapter 11 is. It's short of winding up. It's just a protective, a kind of cocoon that you're in, so as to allow you to pursue what we call plans for reorganization so that you can come out of bankruptcy. With the status that we're in now, it means that between now and, let's say, the 2nd of November, if that's the final date, things can still happen that can result in Bahama suddenly being revitalized and completing the project down there.
Bahama says they expect the provisional liquidators to work alongside them for the best interests of Bahama and the Bahamas. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
The Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation CEO Edison Sumner also reacting to the approval of the appointment of provisional liquidators as it relates to Bahama. He said it puts to rest a number of questions that surrounded the fate of the multi-billion-dollar property at Cable Beach that remains 97% complete. And as Jiminita Swain tells us, Sumner too says that arbitration would be useful in drawing a resolution to the matter that moved into litigation over the past few weeks.
Provisional liquidators have been appointed to oversee the stalled Bahama process is something CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation Edison Sumner considers a positive move. The ruling, he said, gives clear direction to where Bahama goes from here.
It means now that all the parties concerned can line themselves up to work, hopefully now really work together to bring some resolution to this, get the resort opened get the persons who are still on the periphery back to work and get others who are supposed to be employed engaged at the project. It's always been our position that the process should have gone through a process of arbitration or mediation.
Sumner said arbitration is a good option that the parties involved should consider.
During the course of the next 8 weeks or so, for the parties concerned to consider getting someone in who is an international professional mediator to come in, listen to the concerns of all the parties involved, and now that there has been provisional liquidators appointed, get them involved as well, as they now will be involved with, as we understand it, limited powers, but involved nonetheless, to come to a place where they can arrange to get these outstanding issues resolved for the betterment of the development and certainly for the betterment of the country as a whole.
Sumner said at this point, the ruling shows how the judiciary has been put to the test.
It's dependent now on how we address what is going to be the situation going forward. That will help to shape the foreign investor sentiment, will help to shape the opinion of the world, essentially, on how the Bahamas deals with its matters, how we deal with disputes, how the courts respond, how the government responds to these situations. And now, we have another chance to get this done correctly.
For now, the CEO said it will continue to be a wait-and-see situation that will hopefully lead to Bahamas opening soon. Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
BEC in the news once again. Today, power in the Chippenham, Fort Charlotte area was off for more than an hour this morning. This follows Thursday island-wide blackout reportedly due to a lightning strike that lasted for hours and also included Paradise Island. With BEC reform due soon, its chairman Leslie Miller says the corporation's managers union is now complaining that they want more benefits in their contract after taking home over $1 million last year. And if they don't, Miller believes they plan to take the matter further.
Again to the Ministry of Labor for. Because we gave them the money they were supposed to sign. After they got the money and spent it, now they say they don't want to sign.
BEC Chairman Leslie Miller says he is highly upset over threats made by members of BEC's managerial union to report BEC to the Labor Board because they are operating without a contract. Miller says in December of last year, members of the union took home $1.2 million just in time for the Christmas holiday. But Miller says the contract was not signed. He says it was an act of good faith by several board members who agreed to pay out those funds, which Miller claims he was totally against.
The money was given to them. They never signed the agreement. Now they want something else included in the contract. And that's part of the problem. I don't know what the hell they're raising hell for. Okay? They got the money. They got the people money. Over $1 million. They already spent the money for Christmas. Now they wouldn't sign the contract that they had agreed to in the meetings with the board and management. So they have reneged on their obligations, and now they're saying that a few things that they thought should have been included wasn't included. But because they didn't spend the people money, they now want to renegotiate and have those things put into the contract.
Miller says employees at BEC are some of the highest paid workers in the country. He says on average a BEC linesman makes roughly $40,000 per year. As it stands now, the chairman claims the union is requesting deviations that were not in the original contract to be fixed after they realized certain clauses were not in the contract. Miller says the union is putting up a good fight to have a contract signed before a new team takes over the corporation.
They now want to take out some clauses and put in some clauses to their benefit. And they also want the contract to be signed before the new company. See, government has signed a new company, NUCO, to take over BEC. Now, they would wish to have their contract reassigned to the new company, which I don't think the government should do, because BEC is already overloaded with paying out this enormous amount of money. Fellas at Blue Hills, at Clifton, still making over $2,000 a week in overtime.
And still to come, the king of Joncanoe has been crowned. We'll tell you who when the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, continues.